Arcadian Vanguard presents the Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Wednesday, September 20th, 2023. Good morning. I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with NXT, broadcast live last night on USA Network from the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. In the main event, NXT Women's Champion Becky Lynch teamed with Lyra Valkyria to defeat Tiffany Stratton and Kiana James when Valkyria pinned James. Afterwards, Stratton attacked the victors with a steel chair.
She can do it. Once upon a time, it's going to happen. Whoa!
Stratton with a steel chair, dropping Lynch.
Oh, Lynch just picked up, Vic.
One after another, repeatedly.
This is serious.
This is heinous.
This is serious. This is all about the goal, man.
The match was made following a show-opening promo in which Stratton challenged Lynch to a title match at NXT No Mercy. Joe Coffey emerged victorious in the finals of Block B of the Global Heritage Invitational Tournament, besting Duke Hudson and Nathan Frazier in a triple threat. The match decided the three-way tie created when Hudson had beaten Coffey in a one-on-one Block B match earlier in the show. In the night's Block A match, Butch pinned Tyler Bate within 10 seconds of the time limit, advancing to the finals.
30 seconds. My understanding is we're inside the final half minute of this matchup. If they tie, Tyler Bate is going to advance. Second time. Wait a minute. A change. The bitter end. That wasn't a bitter end. It was a better end and a victory for Butch.
In other results, NXT North American Champion Dominic Mysterio defeated NXT Champion Carmelo Hayes via disqualification due to outside interference from Ilya Dragunov, and Roxanne Perez pinned Lola Vice. In WWE Corporate news, an all-staff meeting was held yesterday morning at WWE's headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut, with PW Insider reporting that WWE President Tony Khan, TKO Executive Chairman Vince McMahon, and Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel were all present. The three executives spoke at the meeting, and it was described as a very positive gathering focused on the future outlook of the company. The meeting comes in the wake of what's been estimated as approximately 100 corporate WWE layoffs that took place last Friday following the company's merger with UFC under the TKO banner earlier last week. In ratings news, Monday Night Raw once again set a new record for lowest viewership, beating the record set by last week's episode, according to WrestleNomics. The total of 1.331 million that tuned in for Monday's episode on USA Network is the lowest for any first-run episode in the show's 30-year history, and was down slightly from last week's previous record low of 1.353 million. The rating in the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic was actually up, coming in at 0.44 after last week's 0.40, possibly owing the major competition from Week 2 of Monday Night Football skewing to an older viewership than Raw. AEW Collision drew an audience of 467,000 to TNT last Saturday night, according to WrestleNomics. That total is down slightly from the previous week's 476,000. The rating in the key demo was 0.15, which was even with last week and represents 200,000 viewers. Last week's audience represents a drop of nearly 45% from Collision's initial audience for its first episode 3 months ago. And in injury news, AAA Mega Champion El Hijo del Vikingo suffered a hip injury, according to a report on Wrestling Observer Radio. The injury reportedly occurred due to a diving spot during Vikingo's six-man tag team match last week on Ring of Honor. It was initially believed to be just a bruise, but Vikingo was later seen using a wheelchair. Vikingo is believed to be optimistic about making his scheduled title defense against Commander for AAA this weekend, but the match may now be in jeopardy. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the wrestling news. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.